Hello, I'm User-Friendly's assistant, and in this video, we're going to look at ways that you can get sort of more interesting drum beats to generate rather than, just a simple, straightforward beat. So you can see that the MIDI in here is very simple. It's just kick, 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 hat, snare, and then some cymbals and stuff like that. But when you listen to it, there's quite a bit more happening. So that's what we're going to look at in this video. Okay, now we have our kick drum in there, and then we're going to bring an arpeggiator in. And what I'm going to do is group this arpeggiator. From there, I'm going to add a random before it. So as it is right now, if I turn this up to 100% and turn this down, and then I'm just going to trigger this with my keyboard. So if I hold the MIDI note down, it goes through this arpeggiator. With this chance here, if I turn the chance down to 0%, it's still going to go through. If we look at this key here, we can see that note's always coming through. If we turn chance up 100%, you can see it's always going to go one note up. And then down here at like 50%, it's hopping between these two notes. So I'm going to add another chain, and I'm holding this note down and then just double clicking this green line. So now the only way this kick will trigger is if we send it this note. So if we move this arpeggiator up, and I'm going to move this one here. All this is just, it's just an empty chain. So it's just going to allow the MIDI that we send in to pass through. Whereas if the note goes up like this, now it's going to go through the arpeggiator. So with this random here, you can see there's a 44% chance it's going to go up 1. And when it does that, it's going to go through this arpeggiator. Now, one thing to keep in mind is DS kick doesn't respond to note. So whatever note you send it, it's still just going to send out the same kick drum. If you were to put an operator in here, you can hear that it's going one note up. So if you don't want that to happen, you'll just bring a pitch in and shift it down 1, because it's going through the arpeggiator because it got shifted up 1. So we just got to go back down 1. For now, we're just going to kind of continue. We're going to continue using kick. So you can kind of see the idea here now. So now we can duplicate this a few times and just shift these up. And then we'll leave this one at 8. This one we can go up to 12. This one will go up to 16. Now there's still only one choice for this random to go. So we'll switch this up to 3. And the reason it's 3, rather, even though we have 4 here, this is 0. So right now it's the choice between these two. We go up to 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now it's a 44% chance or a 50% chance it's going to go to one of these other notes. Something else to keep in mind is if we just draw in our kick drum like this, nothing's really going to happen because these notes are, what, 16th? So this never ratchets fast enough for those sort of notes to happen. So you can do a couple of different things. You can either just extend the note, or you can just leave it as it is. And I kind of think this is the better way to do it anyway, because how long you want the note to ratchet for is kind of going to depend on, what you're going for. So, for example, you could do a quarter note. So, for example, if the 16th or the 12, the note is always going to go for at least a quarter step. If you switch it over to milliseconds, you can kind of have things go on quite a bit longer. All right. So that's a way that you can sort of deal with the note length. For right now, I'm going to remove that just to sort of keep stuff pretty simple so we don't go, too crazy with how many MIDI devices and blah, blah, blah that we have in here. So, yeah, we'll just leave it with the arpeggiator. And I'm going to add another one. So now we have 5. So I'm going to put this up at 4. Shift this up. Does it make it up there? Yeah. This one I'm going to put on milliseconds and put an envelope MIDI here. I'm going to map this to here. Do it. It's not doing it. So I'm going to move this down here to the first one and put the chance at 0. So now we get it every time just so we can sort of test this out. And then maybe I'll also map this here to the pitch. Now, the way this is right now, you can see that this little blue line, it goes all the way up and then it comes below here. So if we turn this on, now it's going to stay at its pitch and just go up and back down to where it started. So now we can move this back up, put this back 50. You can hear that sometimes it's going to go multiple times just because that's how randomness works. There's going to be times where it's going to trigger multiple times in a row. The ratcheting, especially since it's synced with the clock, I don't feel like you notice that quite as much. But as stuff gets unsynced, it almost, to me at least, it seems like it sticks out a little bit more. Like you're gonna sort of notice the ratcheting enveloped kick much more than you're gonna notice the 16th or the 8th notes or whatever. So I'm gonna put an expression control in here. And something to keep in mind is this can go up to 20 seconds. So you may never hear it. You can do that, and I probably would, and just be okay with the fact that sometimes we're not really going to hear it because it's going to take so long to start ratcheting. Or, the other thing is how we have this set right now. It's actually going from fast to slow. I'd rather have it slow to fast. Either way, what I'm going to modulate is the decay and the sustain, just because those will be not quite so crazy if they go way, way above or below. No, I can't do it. I don't like it. I'm doing the attack. Yeah. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on the decay. So that way, as this increases, it's going to be going slower, so we'll get more decay. Do it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we have all this in here. What we can do is just hold Alt and drag. And now we have all of this stuff kind of just moved over to another one. So we can switch this out with a hi-hat. The pitch and the decay aren't going to follow because it's a different device. So I'll pull that down. And then we'll add in some notes here. I'm going to turn the kick down. I want that to stay steadier. And the hi-hat will go up. All right, so now the snare, we're going to add something else. We'll keep most of this stuff in here. I'll replace this with the snare. And for the snare, I'll get rid of the ratcheting thing and leave those. Yeah. I'm going to duplicate and get rid of the arpeggiator and note echo. You can use note echo as a delay. So turn the feedback down and mute the input. Now, when this gets triggered, it's going to be delayed. That's the other thing about the note length. For example, here, if we go up to 132, you don't want that to go on for a quarter bar. You're going to want that to be pretty short. So now, even though the MIDI notes are long, as in they're like that, long, it's only actually going to ratchet for a 16th. So you can hear that one that just delayed a little bit. This one, I'm going to leave, I'm going to get rid of that, leave these. And in fact, we'll do another one. But put a velocity in here and turn both of these down low. So now this, if it happens, basically if this one gets triggered, nothing is going to happen. So kind of like pulling a note out. I'm going to replace this for cymbal. So now we can have our cymbal here. This is going to happen a little bit more normally. Yeah. And now the last thing I'm going to do, this is something I talk about it all the time, but in case you haven't seen it before, I'm just going to add a MIDI envelope into this cell here. And we'll do, I think, just a delay. So now if this note triggers, the delay is going to turn on for the whole kit. So I'll just add maybe one here. Actually, I'll do all four of these and then turn the chance down. Put an expression control in here. Now, something with these really sort of glitchy, sort of constantly changing beats. I've talked about this before as well, but I feel like personally they sort of hit a little bit better or just are a little bit more coherent if you have an actual steady, rock solid beat behind it just to sort of hold everything together, if that makes sense. So this is just a basic drum rack that I kind of keep on hand, and essentially all it is a bunch of kick drums in here. they're randomly selected with this thing, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's not what this video is about. So I'll just do like that. Now group both of these and do a drum bus. Yeah. So for context, there's a lot going on here, but for the most part, these drum sounds, tonally, they're not really changing. It's the ratcheting that's changing. And then this drum rack, the kick, all the sounds are sort of constantly changing. So if you listen to this, the sounds are changing, but the actual rhythm at which they're triggered isn't. So I find a lot of times if you're sort of drawing in your MIDI for bass sounds or chords or whatever it is that you're working on, having some sort of semi-generative beat can help kind of keep you in the mood while you're working on that super repetitive stuff. So if you're trying to draw in your bass notes or whatever, and you're hearing the same loop over and over and over again, you're probably eventually going to get kind of sick of it. So this just helps out to kind of keep things alive while you're working on stuff. Or, you know, this is great for live stuff to where you're going to get something different as you perform. And remember that you can go with this quite a ways. Just adding, so let's say you have a whole bunch of these arpeggiators in here. As you add more, the likelihood that one of these arpeggiators is going to get selected, that's going to go up because you have all these different arpeggiators in there. So just adding in a few of these empty chains where it's like the note is just going to pass through, that can help. So anyway, hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.